What's happening, everybody? Gear up with PEG. We are back. Another new and exciting episode. Ryan over here, Josh over there. And Josh, it looks like you have brought your favorite Matchbox to the set today. That is very nice, but it's blinking and it's actually kind of an unsung hero on projects. Tell us about what this is, because it's not a Matchbox. It's actually something super cool and kind of technical.
Yeah, I think it's taking home the award for the smallest piece of gear we've ever done a gear up on, which is pretty cool. This is an UltraSync ONE timecode locker. So that's a lot of words. It's simply something that lets us sync up audio and video very, very easily, or multiple cameras very, very easily. So you might notice this one has a little label on it that says Slave 2. That's because we have 3 of these. There's a Master, there's a Slave 1, and there's a Slave 2. I've been given the Slave 2. Master is actually on that camera, and then Slave 1 is on this camera. So what these guys do is they constantly run a time code that tells each camera exactly when everything is happening. And when they're all synced up, which is what these guys do wirelessly, they send it wirelessly from the master to the 2 slaves, so they're always perfectly in sync. It will send it to the camera and allow us to, in post, easily to sync these up, basically, so that no matter what, if I snap my fingers right now, both cameras have me snapping my fingers at the same time, and we never have to do any sliding of tracks or moving anything around. It's just perfect every time. So huge benefit for us as editors to be able to just throw our clips into a timeline, hit sync by timecode, and it just snaps into place and everything works perfectly. I can't even begin to describe the amount of time we've spent, syncing up our 633 audio records with our red footage, and finding like perfect moments to use in the waveform, as opposed to just these guys, which will let us hit one button and have that work perfectly. So
well, it's not only helpful in the editing process, but those benefits that we see from it, clients can too, because there's also times that we'll just be asked to go out and capture an event and then pass the footage off for archival purposes and things like that, or maybe they want to be able to do something internally with it. This makes their lives a lot easier also, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can think of a time where we were out doing interviews with 2-system audio, and for the client, that means that they have to do that slipping around that I just talked about, where they have to take the video clip and they have to slip the audio clip to a point where it's perfectly synced. But if we, now having these, we have timecode embedded in everything. Perfectly correct timecode embedded in our red clips, embedded in the 633 audio. So now when we pass it off to the client, we can also tell them, hey, this is all synced up via timecode. All you got to do is hit synchronize and it'll work perfectly. So that's a huge benefit when we're passing off footage to a client, be it for event coverage or anything like that they're planning on putting together something on their own, but they needed us to come and get the footage for them. It's a huge benefit to just be able to say, yeah, you can just throw it in and it'll work perfectly every time.
Well, another benefit is when you talk about being out on video shoots, no matter what's happening in post, it really tidies up the show floor a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said earlier, these are completely wireless, which is kind of what makes them so incredible for being this little box, the amount of just hassle it saves us. Because if we wanted to timecode sync these 2 cameras and say even another camera or the 633, we would have to run a timecode cable between all of these just to make sure they stay perfectly synced up. Or we could try and jam them at the beginning of shoots, but we've had bad luck with that. So to have a constant timecode running into them is just so perfect, and just no cables running across the floor for this. So no trip hazards, nothing like that, and it's the easiest, quickest thing to set up ever. It's the tiniest little cable from here to the BNC port, the timecode port on the back of our cameras, and it works perfectly every time.
So the Reader's Digest version of what we're talking about here, when you watch this video and our voice and the video footage is synced up perfectly, it's because of one of these. How about that?
MVP.
The more you know, everybody. And speaking of knowing more, how's that for a segue? You can check out more about all the gear we have here at PG on our website, printentertainmentgroup.com. Not only can you watch videos about very tiny little devices like that, but also much larger devices, cameras, easy rigs, things of that nature.
Yep.
Check it all out on our website. Also, you can follow us on social media. Josh, any personal favorite PEG social channel?
As always, I'm going to have to say the Instagram. The volleyball pics on there are always great, and just random, shoot behind the scenes stuff that I don't think you'd get to see anywhere else necessarily. So I'd definitely check out the Instagram.
Coach Kuss, he loves the volleyball. He loves everything else that we're doing on the IG account. Twitter and Facebook also really good ones to check out. You can reach out to us on there or on our website if any questions. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. He's Josh. I'm Ryan. See ya.